Previously, OFA reported on Joe Ricketts and Ending Spending Action Fund getting caught with the Ricketts Plan, a proposed plan to run race-baiting ads they were considering, but backed out because of pressure. Ending Spending and the firm's Strategic Perceptions defense was, it was never approved. But in fact, on page 46, it clearly shows Joe Ricketts gave preliminary approval at an earlier meeting. With your preliminary approval at the New York meeting, we have discussed this plan in highly confidential terms with the following proposed team members. All are ready to jump into action upon plan approval, meaning final approval. So yes, ultimately the plan wasn't carried out, but not because they realized it was wrong, but because public pressure made them back down. There was such a huge and intense backlash and negative reaction to this vile sludge, they had to back down and try to disavow it. It was just pure PR. They came up with the idea to do it in the first place, which shows there are seeds of racism in the conservative establishment and movement. If they truly thought it was wrong, they wouldn't have come up with it in the first place. Joe, this shows what kind of person you are that you would even consider it, and what kind of organization Ending Spending Action Fund is. Ending Spending Action Fund is not a grassroots organization. It is an ASTROTURF lobbying firm propped up by a right-wing billionaire extremist cutting a check. Ending Spending is run by a man named Brian Baker, who runs Ending Spending out of a huge lobbying firm called Fabiani and Company from a posh, high-rent office on Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C., between the U.S. Capitol and the White House. On their website they say, Fabiani and Company is a Washington, D.C.-based government affairs firm founded with the primary goal of providing a select group of clients creative and innovative strategies to effectively represent them and their interests before the United States federal government. Translation: they look for and find loopholes so the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes. They help get legislation written so their corporations can pollute, abuse workers, and outsource jobs. They help keep government in control of corporatists and fix it so the government only serves needs of the 1%, not the 99%. They swarm and clog Capitol Hill with armies of lobbyists, constantly bogging down our government with lobbying and causing gridlock in our government. They connect people with Washington insiders by selling access to our government. The very reason why DC is in chaos and overspending is because of lobbying firms like Fabiani and Company, and fake AstroTurf organizations like Ending Spending Action Fund, and now because of Citizens United decision, we have billionaires starting super PACs and running deceptive and sleazy ads, making it worse. Joe Ricketts and Ending Spending Action Fund say they are against wasteful government spending, yet Joe Ricketts and Ending Spending represent Washington insider lobbying firms that have taken over control of our democracy with their army of lobbyists, swarming and infesting Capitol Hill with lobbying for the 1%, pushing for billions of dollars in tax money and corporate welfare subsidies for the oil industry and others awash in profit. Billions of dollars of taxes steered to government contractors, especially the military-industrial corporate complex. And billions of dollars in lost revenue for our government by lawyers fixing the tax code so GE and the 1% don't pay their fair share of taxes. Then, in the middle of this chaotic gridlock that they created, they have the nerve to stand up and decry bad government and create a fake AstroTurf organization like Ending Spending Action Fund and demand something be done about the very problem they created. Lobbying firms like Fabiani and Company do not produce anything useful for society. They only assist and facilitate our government and our democracy being sold to the one with the most lawyers and the biggest pile of cash. Joe Ricketts, you need to keep your Washington lobbying, your fake AstroTurf organizations like Ending Spending Action Fund, and your 1% money out of our government and our elections.